But I feel he has a little advantage because he knows both lanes now. He's been on the pair for one game, and he's sort of settled down a little bit.
Strike out for 227, and there's yet another. You know, there are two different thoughts of this. A Tom Baker who might go all the way to win, bowling and bowling and bowling, or Mark Roth sitting around just to bowl one match, do or die. Some would rather be in one position, others would rather be in another.
Well, I had talked to Mark previous, and he'd said that he likes the #1 position the best.
Yes, sir. He strikes out for 227 and handily beats Johnny Petraglia, who wins $3,500. As for Tom Baker, he will go on to meet the doomsday stroking machine. That is Earl Anthony. Match 2 coming up after this pause.
If anyone knows how to build a championship tennis ball, it's Penn. In fact, Penn makes more tennis balls than anyone in America. And tests them electronically for quality and response to give the serious player the kind of tennis ball he demands. Long play, lively bounce, and consistent performance off the racket. Penn, the ball to play when you're serious about tennis.
This bud's for every man who works with fire and steel.
This bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this bud's for you.
I think Joe Berardi said it best in our opening when he said, what can you say about Earl Anthony? Here's a man that has won 31 PBA titles. That's the all-time PBA record. He's had 21 300 games in his career. He's had 3 of those this year, including one in the tournament up at Windsor Locks, Connecticut. And his bowling goal, to remain bowling's all-time leader in championships and become the first bowler to win $1 million in earnings. And I'll caution again before Joe starts talking about Earl Anthony and his match with Tom Baker, and that is 7 times before tonight. He has been on national television, and 7 times he has only won 1 title. And for Earl Anthony, that is a disappointment. He is an outstanding bowler. And now he's against young Tom Baker. And whereas Earl has won 31 tournaments, Tom Baker has not won 1.
Well, Earl is so accustomed to television, and it really is, like you said, there's nothing more you can say about him. If anybody could win $1 million, Earl can, because he's that proficient on the lanes.
Tom Baker, like Mark Roth, whom he may meet, is a big hockey fan. Loves to play it, loves to watch it. Starting out on lane 17 and starting out with a strike.
Well, Earl's choosing to finish on lane 17, which, as we said earlier, was the easier of the 2 lanes.
And the seated players get their choice?
Yes.
Now, this is a lane they've been having a lot of trouble with, but not Earl Anthony.
No, Earl, as you can see, doesn't take too much time on the approach. And his game is so almost perfect. Speed never varies, which is one of the toughest part of bowling.
We said that Earl has won 31 tournaments. He has finished second 32 times. That's 63 times with a chance to win it all. Incredible. And he's starting out incredibly.
Well, that's what you want to do, especially to a newcomer like Tom Baker, who doesn't have a title. You want to get out of the gate fast.
Tom Baker saw Johnny Petraglia have a horrible night, opening in 2 different frames. But now he's looking at Earl Anthony, who's starting out by striking in frames 1 and 2 and putting the burden right back on Baker.
Well, Tommy wants to get this shot off and make it a real good one to stay even with Earl, because you don't want to put yourself in a position, especially against Earl, where you have to strike out.
Good-looking ball. However, he has left the 4.
Well, Tommy pulled the ball a little that time. He didn't give it quite enough room as he did the previous game on the right-hand lane.
Tommy's had a couple of 300 games this year. And in the Miller High Life Open, he had 2. Trying to cover the 4 and does so. Tom has not had the greatest record on television this year. He's been on the 3 matches and has won 1 of the 3.
And guess who he won that 1 match from?
Probably the same guy that Mark Roth beat in the finals.
That's
last week
correct.
in Greenwood, Indiana. That's good. I remember one time when Lee Trevino was 12 over after 1 round in the World Series of Golf, and I was working that with Arnold Palmer. And to make Lee, who at that time was very young and just beginning to win, feel better, I said, 12 over? I know a man that got 12 on 1 hole. Remember Arnold Palmer in Los Angeles Open? He kept hitting him out of bounds. And Arnold just laughs because it happened. I mean, what else can you say?
That's right. Another.
Oh, whoa, there goes the tap.
Well, that's another break of the game. Earl, the ball was a little light. Earl looked a little worried, but all the pins went down. That's all that
He's
counts.
up by 20 pins through the 3rd frame.
Well, see, now this is going to be a difficult situation for Tommy because, especially to give Earl a lead, and Earl looks locked into both lanes now.
You know the possibility, don't you, that Earl Anthony and Mark Roth could meet in the finals, and you would just see a hunk of bowling talent.
That would be the perfect
in that
setting.
match. Yes, sir. That's the way to do it. 4 frames, 4 strikes. Earl Anthony leading by 30 pins. And we'll come back in just a moment in match 2.
Once again, there's a feeling inside of me, nothing new. I felt it before.
There's a Hilton waiting somewhere along the way.
'Cause there's places that I've never been to, sunsets to be ridden into. Not a lot I can do but give in to the drifter in me.
When there's a drifter in you, there's no place like Hilton.
There's no place like Hilton.
This C-130 Hercules is one of the most versatile aircraft in the Air Force. It's also a prime transport and cargo carrier in commercial aviation. You can't beat the technical training you'll get by being a member of the Air Force Reserve. Believe me, it'll put you way out in front in the job competition. Find out about all the benefits of the Air Force Reserve.
Call now, toll-free, 1-800-257-1212.
Jim Simpson with Joe Berardi. And Joe, basketball was invented by Dr. James Naismith in Springfield, Massachusetts. No question. You don't have to wonder where it came from, out of what sport it evolved. It was invented, and the rules are still on the wall at the Hall of Fame up there. But it's become very international, and on ESPN later in the month you'll see Brigham Young against the USSR, LSU against Yugoslavia, Notre Dame against the USSR, UCLA against Poland, and many others. It is truly now an international sport. Poland, Yugoslavia, and the USSR all touring the United States in the month of November. Tom Baker down by 30 pins, frame 4.
It's a big shot here. That's it.
Well, that's the kind of big shot you want. That cuts it down by 10.
Well, he's coming to his good lane now, and he could cut the margin down to a 10-pin deficit. But then again, Earl Anthony looks like he doesn't want to throw anything but strikes.
On the lane he likes better. If he gets his 3rd consecutive strike, his 4th of this match, he will be down by only 10 pins. When he started on lane 18 just 1 ball ago, he was down by 30. Now he'll try to cut it from 30 to 20 down to 10, and does.
That was a beautiful shot. Tommy, this will end in a high-scoring match.
Well, this is what we expected.
Yes.
A high-scoring match. We did not see it in the last match. 227 to 187. Earl Anthony, you know what he's done. Frames 1, 2, 3, 4. Strike, 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 strike.
Well, that's just Earl's way of saying hello.
Welcome to the big leagues, Tom Baker.
That's it. Well, it looks like he pulled it.
Yes, sir. Left the 2 at the 7.
Well, it's not like Earl. Earl usually doesn't make too many bad shots, but this one he pulled a little at the bottom of the swing, and
You know, you can talk about his swing and what he did at the bottom of the swing, but it's amazing how true it has become. Disaster has usually befallen, or near disaster, on lane 18, this right-hand lane.
well,
Oh, yeah, that's the way to get out of it. Up now by only 8 pins, however.
well, from the way it's going now, it looks like whoever conquers lane 18 will come out ahead.
What you hear in the background, the other pins falling, is Paul Moser, who is next up to face the winner of this match. Mark Roth hasn't started to tune up yet, but of course they were all here hours before the matches began and practiced for a long time. Earl Anthony, no sir, he has left himself, whoops, just the 4.
Earl got a very, very good break there. He made another bad shot and left the 4-pin.
You could have gone right from opening, as he might have with that last split, to the probable spare here in frame 6.
Well, professional bowling isn't all strikes. You have to make whatever you leave.
Tommy Baker started out with a strike, spared the second, is now working on 3 in a row and is down by only 7 pins. Remember, at one time he was down by 30, and if he strikes here, he'll go up by 3. Such is the swing in bowling.
Well, that's how easy this game can turn around. Earl started out like a house on fire, and now all of a sudden Tommy needs a strike to go ahead in the match. It looks like he pulled it a little.
Yes, sir. Oh, my. 4-7-6. If Houdini or Andy Verapapa are in the audience, we can call on them. Maybe Tom Baker can pull it off himself.
Well, Tommy, we're going to look at this and watch. At the bottom of his swing, he pulls the ball a little bit, not letting it out like the last 3 shots. He'll just go for the 2 here.
And has them. Every week that we've been on the fall PBA Tour here on ESPN, the first game winner has gone all the way to the title match. Let's see if that happens. If Tom Baker can win here, he is now down by 22 after opening, so we may have a precedent, mild as it is, broken.
Well, the one thing you don't want to do is give Earl Anthony a chance. That was a big shot Tommy had, and unfortunately for Tommy, he made a mistake. That looks a little better.
Left himself the 10, however.
Well, circled the ball a little bit. It didn't get back with the power that the 3 he had previous to that hit.
When you bowl on television, does it really get you that you're on television, or can you put it aside after the first ball or 2?
Well, a lot of people say it's easy to put aside, but it's not, because you're aware of all the lights, the cameras, and the silence.
Okay, now Earl Anthony is quickly up again by 22 pins as Tom Baker takes a seat, and we'll come back to Fairview Park outside of Cleveland, Ohio, where you're watching the $83,000 Lawsons Open.
Well, here we are.
Yeah. Well, did you ever think this day had come, Dad? Me going off to college and all?
Nope.
But, Dad, I want to thank you for this.
Thank you, Ma. Couldn't send you except she made you sign up for those savings bonds.
Well, I'm sure glad you listened to her for once.
College can come sooner than you think. Join your payroll savings plan and buy bonds.
The National Youth Sports Program is dedicated to expanding opportunities for the nation's economically disadvantaged youth. In the summer of 1978, nearly 55,000 young people participated in the NYSP, now in its 10th year. NYSP provides instruction in football, basketball, swimming, track and field, and many lifetime sports. NYSP also means health education, counseling and study and career and educational opportunities, summer employment for hundreds of college students and inner city youth. 142 universities and colleges in 43 states will conduct NYSP activities this year at a cost of over $7 million. The National Youth Sports Program is providing young people an opportunity to realize their talents and potential, building a positive attitude for today's youth, preparing better citizens for tomorrow. The preceding has been a message furnished by the NCAA.
No question. We've got it all for you here on ESPN, including NCAA hockey. Such games coming up as Michigan and Notre Dame and Northeastern and Harvard. And how far do we go? All the way until March, when we have the NCAA hockey championships in divisions 1, 2, and 3 here on ESPN. Right now it is bowling. We're in Fairview Park outside of Cleveland, Ohio. We're in frame 7. Earl Anthony with a 22-pin lead. The loser gets $4,000. The winner goes into match 3, the semifinals against Paul Moser. Anthony working on a spare in frame 6.
Oh, that was a much better shot. Earl got the ball out a little farther on the lane, stayed with it all the way, and you saw the result.
Earl Anthony. Love his name. I use it enough. Everybody does. The Doomsday Stroking Machine.
Well, it fits him.
Up by 22 pins. This is the lane they like. And maybe that's why.
Yeah, well, it is the easier of the two. Well, these are two crucial shots for Tom Baker. He can strike the game out for 235, and Earl right now is going at a 230 plus pace.
Anthony leading by 32 pins as Baker steps up in frame 8. Tommy cut it from 30 down to 7. Could have gone up by 3, but instead opened.
Oh.
That was in frame 6, and now he gets the 10 to leave the 7, so spared a little bit there.
Well, he did the same thing as the previous shot on that lane. He got to the bottom of the swing and pulled the ball almost across his body. And we're going to take a look at that again. And everything's fine up until the bottom of the swing. And it looks like he just tried to give it a little extra.
Now to cover the 7. And does so. He is 33 pins down. Yeah, looks like Earl Anthony's going to get a shot here, doesn't it? And it looks like Tommy Baker, who's never won, will not win and will take $4,000, but that's not bad.
Well, it's not over yet. Tommy can strike out for a possible 224.
But he's got to strike, right?
He has to strike. And the result of that, Earl would have to stay clean. One open could result in a loss for Earl Anthony.
Has to have a strike, or, well, he left the 10.
Well, it's the same thing. The ball didn't grab at the back end of the lane, and resulting in a flat 10, as we call it.
34 pin difference. Now Mark Roth has joined Paul Moser in the lanes to our right. Getting ready as Tom Baker in frame 9 goes to cover the 10. Now let's see if Earl Anthony simply just slams the door here.
Well, knowing Earl, that would be his only choice.
Didn't quite, did he?
Well, that ball looked good, but again, like in Johnny Petraglia when he left the 7-9 in the 9th frame, Earl's ball just didn't hit to the full capacity, breaking down the 7 and leaving the 9.
Trying to cover the 9. Does so. He's the winner. Earl Anthony is going to go on. He has closed him out with a spare the 9th. So Tommy Baker will get the $4,000, the knowledge that he has won one match here on national television. Earl Anthony has to look ahead to Paul Moser, standing between him and a title match with Mark Roth. Ooh, 4-7.
Well, Earl looks like he's just going through the paces now, thinking about what he's going to do the next match. Tommy did the one thing that you didn't want to do, is give Earl Anthony a chance. resulted in where Tommy sits down and Earl goes on to the next match.
All in that 6th frame for Tommy Baker. Well, I'll repeat again. He could have gone up by 3 pins had he had a strike, but instead he opened. And that opened the door for Earl Anthony, who came back with strikes in 7 and 8. And now, as you have said, Joe Berardi is simply just playing out the string, looking ahead to Paul Moser. Left the 10 again. 233 for Earl Anthony. 6 pins better than Tommy Baker's score of match number 1 against Johnny Petraglia. Oh no, Tommy's not going to come anywhere near the score of 227 as he had in match number 1 as he left the 4 and 6.
Well, Tommy realizes that the game is over and he's really just trying to make it a little easier to get out a little quicker. But Tommy, we're going to look forward to seeing Tommy quite a bit.
Oh, 233 for Earl Anthony, 190 for Tommy Baker. A disappointment, but Earl Anthony advances on. And Paul Moser, who's won 2 titles on the PBA Tour, is next up.
This Bud's for everyone who's into hot tracks and red-hot cars.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. The Budweiser Spider and the clean, crisp taste of the king of beers.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
You give tennis balls a serious workout. At Penn, we grind them to the core. You serve them. We fire them from cannons. You smash them. We crush them. You expect a lot from a tennis ball. We demand it. That's why Penn balls play so long, so lively, so consistently. When you play Penn, you know they'll meet your standards. They've already met ours.
His name is Paul Moser. He is 5 feet 4 inches tall, 32 years old, out of Somerset, Massachusetts, and this year has won a little bit more than $27,130. He has been on national television a couple of times this year and has lost both times. But look out for Paul Moser. He has been throwing well today, rolling well. His high game this week, a 289, and he's got to go against Earl Anthony. And like so many of the others, he is left-handed, and like so many of the others, he is also a hockey nut. There's Joe Antenora, who's the PBA commissioner, and he's got to be proud of how the tour has grown. Move over a little bit, Earl, so we can see him there. How the tour has grown, and how the houses fill up for one of the nation's most popular sports, bowling, and one of the most professional of all the professional sports organizations, the PBA. Take it from a guy that has to work with them, Earl Anthony.
Again, Paul is making Earl start on 17 as to finish on the more difficult of the 2 lanes.
And that helps, leaving the 3.
Well, Earl just looked like he got a little quick there.
Thus far, Johnny Petraglia, who normally is with us, and Joe Berardi's filling in for him because Johnny made the finals, has won $3,500, and Tom Baker's won $4,000, and now the loser of this will get $5,000. The winner gets the chance for the full $11,000. Anthony spare, frame 1. Here is Paul Moser. Paul was saying as he was warming up, he said, gee, I'm going to get a check. He said, that's why you come out here, isn't it? He said, I'd like to get a check.
Well, Paul usually gets a check almost every week. He is a very consistent casher on the tour. That ball looks good. For a 6-pin, he went a little high. And if you'll notice with Paul, he's a little quicker with his approach than any of our other players.
Twice this year, he was top seeded. He's won a couple of titles in his career. Started off the tournament in 30th place. After 2 rounds, he moved into 8th, and then he moved into number 3 for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, and that is where he got to until he is seated 2nd here behind Mark Roth. This is the better lane, and it shows up in nearly everybody who rolls.
Well, that was a perfect shot, and Paul has a little more confidence on the lane.
I'd like to tell the people who are watching, no, don't adjust your television set. It's not backwards. Everybody here is throwing left-handed.
A little different from what you normally see.
Got 3 left-handers in the final 5. Whoops. Earl having a little trouble, 3-5-6.
Well, Earl looks like he's trying to get a little quicker, a little more speed on the ball, which he normally doesn't do. I guess lane 18 is really getting to him just a little bit, though.
No. He left the 5. He is open in frame 2 and suddenly finds himself down by 14 pins. But I'll remind you that Tommy Baker was down by 30 pins and had a chance to go ahead by 3 before he opened in frame 6 of match 2. So it's not over yet. But Earl Anthony is at least back on the lane in which he and everybody else is more comfortable. Whoops. Whoops, 6-10.
Well, that time it looks like he got a little slower, but in the event, he just, at the bottom of the swing, just a hair, you could see he pulled the ball. Which actually, he got lucky breaking up the split.
Well, down by 14. Now Paul Moser. Pretty nice spot for him to be. But he is on the more difficult of the lanes. If he strikes here, he's up quickly by 24.
Well, this is what he wants. He really wants a strike here to put Earl in a hole and to make him start working twice as hard.
But this is the tough lane to get the strike on. Good looking ball, but he got the strike and he's up by 24.
That puts Earl in a little bit of a hole, and now Paulie's going to his good lane, and it could be a 34-pin deficit for Earl. We'll watch the replay here. A little high on the backswing, and he is playing a little more outside. Outside meaning the first 5 boards of the lane.
I bet he wants it so bad he could taste it. Go up by 34 if he gets it, but he's not going to get it, leaving the 6-pin.
Well, that was like a wall shot or a shaker. You can call it whatever you like. But it looked like he got a little quick, too. Television has a tendency to do that to you. You get that adrenaline flowing so much.
Plus the knowledge that he could really put Earl Anthony in a bind, not knock him down and out, but be in somewhat control of the match. Had he got it instead, he is up by 23 pins. We've gone through 3.5 frames of our semifinal between Earl Anthony and Paul Moser. And as we said, Paul leads by 23.
The gas guzzler is no longer the American car. It's the American driver. Warming up your car too long wastes gasoline. So the Jackrabbit starts.
Could use a tune-up, sir. Next time.
If everybody saved 1 gallon of gasoline a week per car, we'd reduce oil imports 13%. That's why Getty Oil wants to see the American gas guzzler become extinct. That way, we'll all get more miles for our money.
I'm Frank Schroeder. If you're like me, this is the only kind of running you want to do on a business trip. That's why you should stay at a Hilton, because Hilton can put you within walking distance of almost every business, financial, and entertainment center in the country.
Good morning, Mr. Shorter. Good morning, Mr. Shorter.
So when it's time to get down to business, why run when you can walk?
There's no place like Hilton.
Well, next week we'll be in Syracuse, New York for the $75,000 Syracuse Open. Bill Spigner is the defending champion there. We'll have bowling, and I hope that Joe Berardi doesn't work with me, and I hope Johnny Petraglia doesn't work with me. I will hope you both get back in the finals, and I have to talk to somebody else.
Okay.
Love to see you down there making those big bucks. And join us next week for more PBA bowling. from Syracuse, New York. Right now, the situation. Earl Anthony holding in frame 4. He is down by 23. He has not had a strike in this match until now.
Well, that was a flawless.
That's like putting you in the front of a national magazine. As soon as I say you haven't done anything, they do it.
Makes a liar out of you. But it's just a matter of time before Earl gets back in the groove and starts striking again.
Well, he was down, as we said, by 23. At one time, 24. Strike here, he'd be down by 13.
Well, that's just how quick a game can turn around. If he strikes here, it's only a 13-pin deficit. Paul would have to start working hard again.
And that's nothing midway through the match, believe me. That's nothing. But he needs this. Well, that's the way to get him.
Well, that's
in
Earl's
bunches.
style. Yeah.
Now Paul Moser feeling a little of the pressure on him, even though he is ahead.
Well, again, this is Paul's tough lane.
Man.
Perfect. It doesn't look too tough now.
Had to have it and got it. A strike, of course, will go up by 23. Seesaw back and forth. The question is, who can keep the pressure on the most? Earl Anthony opened in the second, and that's been the big difference.
Yeah, one bad shot, and it cost him a lot. But I'm looking for Earl to come back.
Oh, the 7.
Well, that
as a right-hander, am I right? The right-hander usually leaves the 10, and the left-hander usually leaves the 7.
Well, it's the most left pin when you hit the pocket, the 7 or the 10. And that ball just looked like he got a little too fast on it. As you can see, Paulie generates a little more speed at his spares.
And now Earl Anthony, with strikes in frames 4 and 5, with a strike in 6, can only be within 3 pins of Paul Moser. This lane has been very tough for him. Very tough. And he got them all. I thought the 10 may not go, but it finally went.
Well, that's one of the finer breaks in bowling. And we're going to look at it from the back. And absolutely perfect. Perfect extension. Stays down, good knee bend. There's nothing more you can ask for. And if he can get that result every time, well, we're going to have another... Earl's going to have another title to his credit.
Looking for his 4th in a row. And gets it. Oh, is he turning it on? He was down. He is now up by 7 pins. How about that? Earl Anthony down by 23 is now up by 7. It is not over yet. We'll be back at Fairview Park, a lovely spot just outside of Cleveland, Ohio, after these messages.
Guess what? I just got $5 too much in change.
You keep it?
Sure. They make enough money off us, right?
You know, I think I'll play sick tomorrow. I feel like goofing off.
Children watch what you do, so watch what you do. Bring the God you worship into your life for the sake of your child's. A message of Religion in American Life, the Ad Council, and this station.
Yeah, I think Peace Corps is a good thing because it's personal. It's people to people. It's given me a different perspective on the United States and America's role in the world. The past 2 years has been an incredible living experience. And it's something I'm not going to forget, for sure.
It may not be the easiest 2 years of your life, but it could be the most rewarding. Call toll-free 800-424-8580. Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
Here's a big name all over the world, but especially here in Ohio, Jack Nicklaus. We have a Jack Nicklaus golf special coming up. Jack will team with Sean Connery, the former 007, against Ben Crenshaw of Texas and Glenn Campbell. I think most of you know that Glenn Campbell is an outstanding golfer. They'll play at St. Andrews, the home of golf. But I was with Sean Connery one time when he's first starting to play golf, back when he's 007. Oh, it was way back in the 60s. And he said, I just got started, and I think that day he shot a 77. So these folks can all play golf. Crenshaw, Nicklaus, Connery, and Campbell. Paul Moser leaves himself the 7. He starts the 7th frame down by 7, and now he is down by 8.
That's one of the unfortunate things in bowling now. Paulie's down and can't afford to leave anything on the lane. And he threw the ball up just as best as you possibly can and left the 7th pin.
In truth, we have not seen the kind of scoring we thought we would see here tonight.
Well, lane 18 has been giving everybody a little trouble.
Television, according to you, has been giving everybody a little trouble. Oh, they blame everything on us. Everything on us. Jimmy Certain, our scorekeeper, is happy because Alabama's still #1 in the nation. You know.
Dedicated fan.
Got to keep everybody happy. Paul Moser, he needs a strike and leaves the 7 again.
Paul's bowling just an exceptional game, and right now he's not getting any breaks.
To show you what's been going on, Earl Anthony opened in frame 2 and yet finds himself up by 9 pins. And he hasn't rolled in the 8th frame yet, where Moser is now. The reason being he's doing so well, he's had strikes in his last 4 frames.
If Earl can strike these next 2 balls, all he'll need in the 10th frame is a mark to shut Paul Moser out. Paul's best is a 227 possible.
Remember, the loser gets $5,000. The winner, Mark Roth, has been warming up until moments ago, as they will go for the $11,000 first prize, the winner of this match, and Mark Roth. Guess what? It's the 7.
Well, it's the same thing that's been happening to Paul. And now all of a sudden it became another little bit closer.
And I tell you, to look ahead, no matter who goes in here, and it looks like it's going to be Earl Anthony, even though there's only an 8-pin difference at the moment. Who knows what's going to happen? Mark Roth was having an awful lot of trouble on lane 18 and warming up. Oh, my.
Well, that's something you rarely see.
Oh, my.
And
Now, folks, let's just do a little bit of refiguring here, because with the open frame, it is now Earl Anthony trailing by 4 pins. Can you beat that? He had 4 strikes. Moser has not managed to strike since 5, but watch this.
We're going to look at this now, and this is, whoever's tuned in, it could be a first on television. Earl doesn't miss too many spares, but he gets the ball right to the edge of the gutter, to the edge of the lane, and it falls right in the gutter.
What do they say? Even bowling is a game of inches. Boy, he needs this. He needs this. It comes back.
Well, Paul has a possibility to strike out for 227. If he does, Earl's best is 223, which will leave him 4 pins short of Paul Moser, and Paul will go on to meet Mark Roth.
That is if Paul Moser strikes out.
Right.
Feel a lot better if this is a good ball on this lane. Ooh, look at the wobbly 7, and it sits there. And Moser takes a good long look.